Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you AmberT versus Scoutspirit, also known as AmberT in this game, in round 2 of the second Steel Division 2 Championship. Today they are playing on Tali Ihantala, and in the red team, on our left playing on the Soviet side, we have AmberT using Gruppa Vyborg and the balanced deployment type. And on our right in the blue team, playing on the Axis side, we have AmberT playing with the 122nd Infantry and the balanced deployment type. I'm probably just going to call Scoutspirit AmberT for this game, as to not confuse any of you guys. But let's talk a little bit about these divisions. So Gruppa Vyborg, it does have access to the IS-2s, of course, has a relatively limited infantry tab, but for a 1v1, generally enough to get through. It has pretty nice artillery, off-map options and rushes. Also has access to plenty of decent aircraft. Also some Hurricanes in there, which are good for strafing and bombing support weapons. On the side of the 122nd, you've got a mix of German and Finnish infantry. One of the Finnish DLC divisions, and it can have Pak 43 Krupps, which is going to be important to note against the IS-2s of AmberT. And the tug of war over the open area in the middle of Tali and Ihantala is going to be really interesting to watch. Now this particular map is an interesting one because you've got water on the top and bottom sides. I don't believe you can cross this lake with any infantry. So you'd have to squeeze around the top side here, and often you can see a little bit of a clash trying to get to this flag from the blue side. On the bottom, there's a little bit of a ford. You can push across here in order to get to this flag. So this is generally an infantry engagement, but one tank here can make that very, very difficult for the blue side to push across. And we've got these small patches of water in the middle that mean that troops have to kind of navigate around them, and it leads most of all to this open area in the center, which is probably going to be very contested throughout this game, as both sides have flags pretty close to the center there. And some good IS-2 placement from AmberT could really give him an advantage in this game, as long as AmberT doesn't make good use of the Krupp 43s that I already mentioned. Let's have a look at the troops going down. We'll start on the side of AmberT here. We got the Pioneery, some Grenadiers, Pioneerführer, Ersatztruppen on the top side. So Pioneery, of course, being Finnish troops, Grenadiers and Ersatztruppen being the German troops there. Further down, we see Flammenwerfers, of course, at the front. Ersatztruppen, Pioneerführer, more Ersatztruppen and Flammenwerfers, IG-18. It's also going to be an AT gun there. Pak 40, Pioneery and Grenadier. Further down at the bottom side, just more infantry by the looks of things and support guns. So we've got Ersatztruppen, Grenadiers, Flammenwerfers, IG-18s, Pioneery again with Ersatztruppen and Flammenwerfer, and then you've got the AT gun there, the IG-18, and another one of those AT guns. So no, I can't remember quite what caliber these are. We'll have a look at them once they unload. Over on the side of AmberT, we've got the T-26Es coming in with the Chernos. Looks like one of these might actually head up to the top side to help against any infantry engagements in the light cover there. Just going to use that possibly to defend, to give himself a bit of armor support. Ognemachiki is going to be used with a ZIS-3 and a T-26 there. Again, just to hold off this top side, I reckon, against any advancing forces. Then we see a lot of AmberT's forces on the bottom side. He is going to be coming in with a lot of these T-26Es. Going to be supporting an IS-2 1943 and a Churchill 4 at the start of the game. 2 ZIS-3s leading the charge with 3 Strauki DP following up. 4 Flamers there as well, the Ognemachiki, and an AA just to protect himself from enemy aircraft. Now what's interesting about the T-26Es on the Soviet side, especially against a division like the 122nd, is unless AmberT specifically brings in AT rifles in the form of like the Lati, then he's going to struggle to kill those at range, and so they can do quite a lot of damage to units like Flammenwerfer, Ersatztruppen, Grenadiers, and also Pioneery, because none of them have a decent range on their AT weapons. There'll be like 100-meter range on the Pioneer. Grenadiers, if they have a Panzerfaust, will be 120-meter range. So the T-26s can get a lot of damage down with those machine guns. But I'm just going to highlight the forces here so you guys can see where they are heading. It looks like for AmberT, he's making use of fast move commands and then unload commands, shift queued onto his troops, whereas Abbott's just using straight up unloaded position. Going very, very aggressive towards this chunk of trees early on, which might leave AmberT's Throki DP in a pretty tough position actually. This is a nice little push here at the start, nice positioning. AT gun getting into the position for Abbott. Here we go. These are going to be the standard 45 mil. So these are the captured 45s from the Soviet side. IG-18 going to be engaging a ZIS-3 almost immediately. ZIS-3 will struggle against an IG-18. IG-18, I'm surprised it lost its targeting. Now it might have given the ZIS-3 a chance to fight back. If the IG got the first shot, it should win. But since it's allowed the ZIS-3 to get 2 shots in already, and it re-aimed, it might not. Okay, ZIS-3 does get pinned. IG's going to do the job. Generally, support weapons like the infantry gun that are more specialized for this kind of engagement do tend to win out. We'll eventually kill that off, and that's going to be quite an expensive AT gun for AmberT to lose at the start. These are 55 points each. So now we see Azaztrup and Pioneer engaging the Ognamachiki across the small lake here. But the T-26Es and the 37s now engaging those, not really doing too much damage. Azaztrup tried to engage the Stroki DP, but took a lot of damage from those. Stroki DP, one of the better mid-range squads that the Soviets have access to, with the 9 SVTs and the 2 machine guns. So very, very mid-range focused. Azaztrupen, if they have decent veterancy, can be very, very strong themselves, but never as strong as Stroki DP. So that's why the Stroki DP are winning out with these one-on-one engagements for sure. 2 mortars now going to be purchased by Abbott. We're going to see the Taka Ampuya absolutely annihilate that Flamer squad in one shot. These Taka Ampuya really, really strong sniper squads. Both soldiers, as you can see, have sniper rifles, so take out small squads very quickly indeed. Sturmovniki now being brought in by AmberT to reinforce his Throki in this position. Doesn't want to allow any of these forces to push onto his troops in that location. T-26Es kind of just keeping their distance so they can engage should the infantry push out towards the objective. 81mm mortars now going to be used just to pin down the Stroki so that potentially an Azaztrupen can push forwards to get a surrender. There is no leader here yet, although saying that AmberT is now moving up the T-34-76 Komroti. It'd be interesting to see if he actually moves that so that it does provide command to his Throki DP. T-26E also moving in on this side. None of this infantry has AT. Flammenwerfers, Azaztrupen, and none of it does. 45. Engaging the T-34-76 at this range. This 45mm AT gun will have pretty much no penetration. It'd be very, very low percentage, if anything, against that 75mm frontal armor. Azaztrupen moving in with another Pioneer. We got an IG-18 versus ZIS-3 engagement once again, and the ZIS-3 going to come out on top. Pioneer and Grenadiers currently pinned down by the T-26, going to continue to be the case on that top side as long as he doesn't fall those back. Stoke 3 has been brought in, and the 122nd, if they've got any tanks, it's just Stokes. So that's going to be what they're reliant on throughout the game, and Stokers are actually pretty good for mopping up these C-26s as well as any T-34s, but they will definitely struggle against the IS-2 1943, so that's the engagement we've got to look out for. These smaller AT guns actually will be quite nice for helping with the T-26Es as well, but once again, these troops on the top side, they're being completely ignored. I reckon Abbott's probably preoccupied with the bottom side and not really noticing his troops being free killed up there, which is unfortunate. Going to be bringing in a 45mm AT gun and a Grenadier there. to help with that engagement. If he can pop this T-26E, he might be able to use a couple of infantry squads to try and sneak around that top side, which is what the T-26E is there to stop. Its mortar fire hasn't proved terribly useful so far. Might become more useful if he starts to focus on this infantry that's pushing into the trees here. The Sturmovniki at close range, very, very strong. 7 submachine guns and a machine gun, plus HE grenades. So tough for Ersatztruppen to deal with, that's for sure. Focke-Wulf 190 trying to come in for the strafing run, doesn't find line of sight, is going to get forced back by the 37mm AA. Here comes the mortar fire. Will it be in time? He does manage to pin down a Cherno and make them surrender. Nicely done with the Flammenwerfer there. Also going to pin down the Chernos, but those are going to automatically start to fall back because they are disheartened. With the T-26 dying in the center, it actually has caused AmberT to gain a flag there. This Ersatztruppen though, don't think it's going to make it to cover. Nope, going to go down. So now just one Flammenwerfer standing in between these Chernos and victory for that forested area. And what was a really strong position for AmberT at the start has now been pushed out by AmberT. Ahnemochiki, they've been pushed up into this position. Can't really make any more ground due to the Grenadiers and Ersatz. At range, the Ahnemochiki don't really stand a chance. 81mm mortars still firing away, softening these targets, but not really finding any kills. Oh, there goes the Takan Puya again. Look at that. Going to be chewing up the Chernos. Oh, Su-76 MPT. Two of them have been brought in. One of them got killed by the IG-18. Oh, that was a lovely shot from that Su-76. It was a direct fire HE shot at range. Manages to get the kill. Ahnemochiki versus Ersatz. The Flamer squads should win one-on-one. Just because the Ersatztruppen are going to be taking that extra suppression due to being disheartened. Especially with the help from an Su-76 MPT. One of them is going to surrender, the other one's doing a runner. Ersatztruppen struggling against the Stocky DP, and honestly, AmberT is building up quite significantly. Chernos moving in a wave on this bottom side. He split them into 2 groups. Going to support them with the T-26Es as he moves forwards, as well as the IS-2. IS-2 is looking for the engagement with the Stug. Oh, that Stug's got to back off ASAP. If it gets hit by a shot from an IS-2, it has the potential to just die in one shot. Those IS-2s are pretty damn strong. There it goes. IS-2 gets the kill. Now the Chernos trying their luck, pushing right up. Now into AmberT's defences. Tables have really turned here. Amber's gained the offensive towards AmberT in the centre. AT gun's going to take out the second Su-76 PT. These aren't the expensive variants, by the way. These are just the AT variants. But they only cost 35 points apiece. Pretty cost efficient, actually. Especially when you start to get kills onto things like Stugs. They can really pay themselves off well. But so far, especially on that top side, not doing too great. One paid itself off with the IG kill, but the other one going down to the AT. Cherno going to be ripped up there. T-26 does go down. Not sure what killed that. But the IS-2 is going to be backing off. AmberT not really feeling confident about pushing just yet. Currently pushing through with the Sturmovniki with the Stocky DP to back him up. Does need to be careful not to allow the Sturmovniki to get caught out at a longer range engagement, because they really do suffer beyond 100 meters due to the lack of rifles in their lineup. Oh, the Chernos here. They're going to bump into this AT gun. It looks like they are. That could be a really nice free kill there for AmberT. Means he gets a lot of value out of that Cherno squad. And that's the best thing about this kind of infantry, is they do pay themselves off very well. Ersatztruppen, Chernos, they get 1 kill, and then they pay themselves off. So, really nice. Sturmovniki going to be trading with the Pioneeri. The veterancy here, I would expect, wins the day. Yep. Gonna pin down that Pioneery with a burst of those submachine guns. Starkey DP is in trouble. Pack 40 smashing those. The Starkey DP also on its last man. But we can see the Cherno took out the IG. And this AT gun's now doing a runner. So AmberT is really starting to make ground here, and you can see the forces continuously building up on the side of AmberT, whilst it looks like AmberT is slowly whittling away. There's just not too much going on here. We have now moved into phase B, so we're going to see the Sumir come in. There's some pretty good mid-range sort of infantry squads. Grenadiers still having a hard time with these flamers. AmberT has got a lot of value out of his flamers on this top side so far. Just keeping them stood still means they're going to remain with the defensive entrenchment bonus. And these Grenadiers are really struggling to get close. As that Struppen go down, one more set of flames onto the Grenadiers there might cause it to be surrendered. Never mind. Grenadiers just about went out. That was close. And now we're seeing a JU-88, or JU-87, sorry, come in. 500 kilogram bomb plus two 250 kilogram bombs. Looking for the perfect bombing strike onto these 4 squads of Chernos. One of them is already doing a runner though. And the 37's not going to let that happen. Might even shoot down the JU-87 in the process. These are 2-star veterancy supported by the commander. And yep, JU-87 goes down. More points lost for AmberT with not much gained. And that's what we've got to be careful about. Or what he's got to be careful about in this case. Stoke 3 does manage to take out the T-34 leader, which is going to take away veterancy from the Sturmovniki and the Chernos, which is good. Might allow the Sumir to gain some ground back. These have their SVTs, they have the machine gun, and they have Molotovs. Pretty damn decent squads. With the mortar supports, pinning down the Chernos. Looks like it's going to be multiple surrenders. The Grenadier didn't move forwards to catch that one though. So it's 13-11. The only point really making the difference is this one. Otherwise it would be even. These mortars looking for the shots onto the Pack 40. Nice to see the Pack 40 already falling back after it's been pinned down, just to avoid those mortar rounds. A pretty slow and steady game from both sides so far. Nothing particularly crazy going on. I think AmberT had the upper hand at the beginning in terms of positioning, but he's let AmberT slowly get the better of him so far. And that's only going to get worse throughout the game as AmberT's units continue to build up here. Now we see Sumir and the Ersatztruppen heading to the bottom side. We've got some Sturm Pioneer and a machine gun coming in to the center. Interesting stuff. Looks like the machine gun's actually heading further up. AT gun looking for the kill onto the T-26E. These T-26Es, they haven't found great value so far. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of them being used. I think generally they're a waste of points. But if they get a kill onto anything, and just like the Chernos, they get value. A lot of value. So I guess that's why they are quite useful. And also, as I was mentioning at the start, if your opponent doesn't have any sort of longer range AT in the form of like AT rifles or something, then those T-26Es can be really, really annoying to deal with. A real pain to get rid of. IG-18 going to be firing up the road with the HE shells. Might be able to do quite a bit of damage to some of the infantry there, but with the KV-1S on the way, things going to be getting harder for that IG without any heat rounds left. It's actually 2 of them now heading in. Churchill to follow. Churchill's going to be really good for cleaning up transports. They've got to be careful to unload early, and he does. But this is a ton of troops. He just can't get close enough with anything, though, to take this out. Like, infantry gun's a perfect choice for this kind of infantry push. But it's a matter of also having something with a bit more splash, and that comes in the form of the JU-87s. In this case, the AA is too strong for him to make good use of the 37, so he's going to have to use the mortars instead. But one of his sets of mortars is getting pretty low on ammunition. The other one is now being reloaded in the center. There's not much to capitalize on these troops being pinned down. When you do pin down troops like this, it's always nice to have a unit that can run forwards and surrender, especially when there are as many as we can see here. Now, good job by Abbott to keep the Pioneer Führer alive. I did see that getting attacked. Hasn't gone down yet. The Taka Ampoya, though, under fire from the IS-2 1943. And those HE shells, they hurt. Pak 43 on the way, though. That's going to potentially prevent the advance of the 1943 for the time being. But these tanks on the bottom side, the KV-1S and the Churchills, going to be tough to stop those unless he brings in another one. Pak 40 is going to be his AT gun of choice, but it gets taken out almost immediately down the road there, probably by the Churchill 4. Another goes down. These Churchills are great at transport sniping, and he lost the key unit, which was the AT gun, and that's going to make all the difference on that bottom side. If AmberT noticed it was an AT gun that got shot, then honestly, I would not be surprised to see him push even more aggressively now. The Sumipoisid have gained position in the center. They are controlling this flag for the time being. Those quads did manage to get the better of AmberT's infantry. We've also seen the Grenadiers manage to push around on this top side after the AT gun took out the T-26E that we mentioned earlier. Also see the Focke-Wulf coming in for the strafing run. Not going to be able to get line of sight. Pak 43 really needs to be unloaded down here. But this abundance of infantry and tanks is getting more and more difficult to deal with. Ju-87 coming in for the strafing run, but with this second run, probably going to get shot down. Again, seems like a lack of concentration on the side of Scoutspirit or Abbott. Ju-87 goes down. There's no way that should have been going back in for another strafing run because of these 37s. On the top side, fair enough, because there's no AA here. He can see that by the Focke-Wulf. But on the bottom side, he's already lost a plane already to the double 37s. There's no need to do that twice. IG-18 coming under fire now from the KV-1S. Pak 43 is being moved down to deal with all of these KV-1S and Churchills pushing in. So a very nice constructed push at the moment from AmberT. Got the long range support there from the IS-2, and he's using the KV-1Ss to push in at closer range, Churchill to control the road, as well as provide the machine gun support onto infantry, because it does have 2 machine guns, and then has the Chernos pushing in ahead of them. Pak 40, yeah, it's in trouble already. Pak 43 though, can that get some kills? Does take out 1 KV-1S? Can it take out more? Does take out a unit of Chernos. Oh, but the IS-2 takes out the Pak 40. These Grenadiers, they're struggling to hold on right now. Flamers actually pushing through very aggressively. Pak 43's got to be very careful of its positioning. Stug 4 now moving in also to help out, but yeah, there's a severe lack of infantry on this bottom side right now. The Sumipoisid also starting to get overwhelmed. Sturmovniki Rocks with Razvedka and Chernos. Really nice combination. The Sturmovniki Rocks, really strong squads. 8-man squad with 2 flamers and 6 submachine guns. Doesn't get much better than that for close range engagements. Double Erzastrup and Flammenwerfer are looking for the push onto the center flag just to stay in the game for a little bit longer. But things are really, really not looking good for Abbott right now. Stug 4 might be able to get the better of the KV-1Ss. But it's really going to be up to the Pak 43, but without the infantry to cover it, the Flamers have managed to walk all the way up here, taking away the position from that Pak 43. So that's pretty rough. Erzastrup and Pioneeri in a less than ideal position here now. The Sumipoisid getting more or less chewed up for free. Should have probably pulled those back. Looked like on the top side, transport went down. The KV-1S has been brought in here to help stabilize that and take back the flag. AmberT decided to use 3 Stroke DP and an AA to cover off that top side. That is a large investment just to start 1 Grenadier squad, I'll tell you that much. So that may be an opportunity for Abbott to get more value back on the bottom side. So far, though, he's been struggling. PE2 coming in with the bombing strike onto the Pack 43. Does not get the kill, but the Focke-Wulf 190 will shoot that down. We see the Hurricane come in with the bombing strike onto this AT gun. Takes out another Pack 40 there. Nicely done. Focke-Wulf. They're going to do a runner. He hasn't told it to fall back, and that's going to cause it to die. He's really looking for the Hurricane kill and doesn't find it. Again, the 37 mils with the commander really paying off here on the bottom side for AmberT. Pack 43 going to get bombed by the PE2. And also going to take a lot of damage now. Thrauki still pushing forwards. Finally, we're seeing some Poised come in with the Pack 40. The Pack 43s, they do have a lot of health, so they can kind of withstand a couple bombing strikes, but in general, it's not a good position for that Pack 43 to be right now, especially if it starts coming under fire from this IS-2 with its HE rounds. Poised in the middle that did have position have now been pushed out by the Sturm of Niki push. Coupled by a bit of smoke, these Sturm of Niki could make their way into the town to start dealing with some more infantry there. That would be the best way to use those at the moment. Poised trying to get the better of the Ogdemir. They are going to do so using those Molotovs. Black Valing being brought in, going to try and avoid his Pack 43s being hit by bombers again. But as I mentioned, the IS-2 is going to potentially kill the Pack 43. I don't think that's going to have enough time to get out of line of sight. All smoke though, going to save the day. Nicely done. 81mm mortars. And one thing that is interesting, the LEFH 105 was brought in back here and is being used to RT, but this multi-ammunition could very much do with being brought forwards to these 81mm mortars, I think. That'd be a pretty nice use for them. Stug 4 now trying to engage the KV-1S. Does have decent penetration at this range due to the 135mm of penetration versus the 95 of the KV. There we go. KV-1S down. Seeing a bunch of BA-10Ms being brought in now. And the Avtos. We've moved into Phase C. Generally in these Vyborg divisions, the only card they have in Phase C is in fact the Avtos. So they're going to be pretty strong in Phase C, AmberT at least. And if you can get these into really nice forest positions, it can start to break down Abbott's infantry even more. Now it's going to be interesting to see what Abbott has access to. He's also playing balance, so we'll be playing at least with 1 or 2 cards in Phase C. But if it is just Grenadiers, Avtos will beat them at close range quite considerably. So in that case, he's going to be very reliant on his mortars. And currently with these ones out of shells, and these ones haven't fired for a little while, I'm not entirely convinced things are going to work out for Abbott here. Grenführer going to go down freely to the BA-10Ms. I'm surprised that the kills didn't go through there. There we go, finally finishes that off. Hurricane once again coming in with the 100 kilogram bombs. Trying to zoom in on that. My apologies. Going for the Pack 40. Doesn't quite get the kill. Leaves it on 1 health. That's the reason I prefer the 250 kilogram bomb variants of the Hurricanes. I guess it would probably be enough to take out a 5 health AT gun. Something like the 45s that Abbott's been using, but yeah. Stug 4 nearly kills the BA-10M. BA-10M trying its luck, that's for sure. Poised now engaging Stoki. We got the Grenadiers now moving in. Oh, one of them's going to get taken out immediately. That's no good. Hurricane again coming in with a bombing strike. That one taking out the 45 in 1 bombing strike. Oh, and another one goes down. No. I really, really hate to see infantry die in transports. Especially after it's been noticed once before. To let it happen again seems a bit of a waste. Kivos now being brought in from Abbott to back up his infantry and provide a bit of recon. Not sure that's really going to help too much. These can be pretty deadly squads with higher veterancy. But this is a lot of tanks. You've got 4 T-34s and the IS. And it's all building up. I feel like AmberT, if he'd been a little bit more aggressive, could have already won the game. But still in a very, very commanding position. Hasn't thrown the game at least. Double flak filling is going to take out the PE2. No kill onto the Pak-43. Both of these Pak-43s are really in dodgy positions. I'm not sure why that one is where it is. Be better in the light cover for sure. This one should be working its way back to the heavy cover. Because this IL-2 is just going to be looking for a strafing run any second onto the Pak-43. These two flak fillings, they aren't moving. But they aren't attack moving, sorry. They're not firing at this IL-2. That would have been an easy kill to pick up there onto the IL-2 if they weren't on a standard move order. It doesn't look like the IL-2 is going to be the one that needs to strafe this, since the mortifier comes in and gets the job done. IS-2 did also manage to get a shot onto the flak filling, so weakened that slightly. Grenadiers have secured this position, lost a couple of them for free in those transports though. T-34 is now moving up, Pak-40 also moving in. Pak-43 for the centre is going to go down before it unloads, and I tell you what, losing these AT guns in transports, probably the more decisive things that have happened throughout this game. Because if those AT guns had managed to find themselves into position on the bottom side, in the center, then AmberT would definitely be in a worse position should he want to push forwards. But I think overall the biggest problem we see here so far is that the 122nd isn't built as well for being an aggressive division. Whereas AmberT, with all of this mobile armoured support, is able to make aggressive pushes. Now, the T-34-76s, they were forced back. Looks like the Kiv also managed to sneak up on them and get a couple kills. Also now the Sturm of Niki trying to run them down, but probably not going to happen. The Kivos do have the 3 submachine guns with the extra range, and they're going to basically clean these up before they get close. Pak-40 looking for the second shot there, has cleaned up one more of the T-34-76s. It's not a very decisive push in the centre from AmberT. I feel like that cost him a little bit. A nice off-map's going to be coming down though on the bottom side. He's brought in the 152mm off-map. Me hitting the Pak-43 and a bunch of infantry, including the Grenführer. This flak filling's going to want to move away ASAP because it's only on 1 health. Artillery's already coming in on top of it. Stoke 3 moving in as well. Pak-43, will it get a shot off? Nope. KV-1S rightly backing off. No need to engage the Pak-43 if it's going to go down to the off-map, or if it's going to get pinned by the off-map. You could just like kill it with the KV-1S afterwards, so there's no reason to really go aggressive there. Flag filling, going to engage the KV-1S. This KV-1S is damaged, I think. Yeah, so that might actually get killed by the flak filling. Although with the mortar coming down, that is going to help pin the flak filling. And the IS-2, I think, just one-popped the Stug. If the flak filling with a little burst does take out the KV-1S, but yeah, both of these flak fillings in trouble. We've got the off-map coming down on top of those as well. Hurricane looking for the bombing strike onto the Pak-40. Was pinned a little bit by the flak filling. Might get shot down by the flak filling as well. Doesn't manage to secure the kill onto the Pak-40, so that's still going to be a little bit of a pain. This off-map now coming in. Grenadier's going to unload right into the face of it. 2 Stugs also going to be driving into it. And, well, AmberT is just slowly but surely making more ground. Simipoisid might be able to do some damage to the Avtos as they move forwards, but once they get into range, that infantry squad is a goner. There comes the off-map on the bottom side, delaying Abbott's push even more. And yeah, it feels like AmberT's been well ahead for most of the game, but he hasn't really decisively pushed forwards at any point to take the victory quickly. So we're still only on a minor victory for AmberT at the moment with the 14-10. I think 15-9, making it go so there's only 7 minutes left, could have happened a lot quicker for AmberT. The Grenadiers, they're going to hit hard by the Avtos at close range. Grenführer not going to really last long either once the Avtos get into the building there. Also got the Grenadiers engaging from range. They can do a lot of damage to the Avtos, but the B-810M's moving up to support. These B-810Ms, they don't really have much HE ammunition, but they do have the 2 machine guns, so you can use those to help out. I'm surprised that Abbott's still holding control of the center, but that mainly comes down to the loss of the T-34s. PE2 gonna get forced back by the flak-filling. JU-87 coming in with a strafing run. I think Abbott did the JU-87 first on purpose there, so that the 37 mils attacked that, which was pretty smart, but the JU-87 not managing to get off the bombs does go down, does get crit on the dive, so the IS-2 doesn't take the bombing strike. JU-87 again coming in for another strafing run, second time round, not really necessary. We're trying to weaken that IS-2. Now the IL-2 behind it gets the kill. Oh, couldn't get any worse. That's pretty rough. Now the Hurricane was looking for the bombing strike onto the back 40. Doesn't do so in the end. AmberT giving the order again. T-34, will it go down? Avtos right on top of it though. Oh, don't manage to save the day. T-34 still dies. These T-34s, however, if they continue to push forwards, could just overwhelm the Stug so easily. Of course, the Pak-43 is here, so that might cause some problems, but I think overall, you know, again, AmberT being overly cautious. I guess maybe going for these 2 flags first is fine, but this is where he really has his opponent on the back foot. Especially with the IL-2 flying about, I'm really surprised to not see him be more aggressive. There's no AA here to stop him anymore, other than the flak-filling that's pretty much pinned down. So, yeah. AmberT's scared to pull the trigger, I think. IS-2 under fire from the Pak-43 Krupp. And IS-2 is going to want to do a runner, but with the transmission damage isn't going anywhere fast. Down it goes. Abbott now moving forwards. IL-2 is now going to go for the strafing run, but the flak-filling behind it might cause that IS-2 to actually get shot down if it continues with that order. The Stug 3 has been gun jammed and does go down. Now on this bottom side, the Grenadiers kind of idle at the moment, not going for cover. Not very good at all. Another Stug being brought in. Need to get those Grenadiers off the road, otherwise these T-34s are going to eat them up. IL-2 coming in with a strafing run, does manage to pin down the Pak-43 with the help of the mortar. Flak-filling won't be able to get the kill, I don't think, unless it gets a crit of some sort. Look at this. Big old salient coming through for Abbott. Having killed the IS-2 and the T-34s in the center, Abbott's infantry is actually making some serious ground. T-34s all bunched up on this bottom side. Really not doing too great. They can, of course, kill the Ersatztruppen and the Grenadiers, open up this flag, but God, they could be doing so much better right now. The Grenadiers engaging the Stoker DP at a distance. 81mm mortars firing backwards and forwards. We've got the 82s on the side of AmberT. His 37's going to kill off the Ersatztruppen. Flak-filling, is it going to go down to the mortar strike? It is. Going to remove the AA in the center of the map on the side of Abbott. You don't actually get that much AA on the side of the 122nd. It's normally just flak-fillings and SDKF Z71s that people bring. And you get like 1 card of each. So we've already seen a lot of the flak-fillings go down. There's like 2 on the bottom side, one of them's on 2 health. The one in the mid's dead, so you've probably only got like 1 left. And to cover like most of the maps can be pretty rough. So those IL-2s might start coming into play quite nicely, and the Hurricanes. The IL-2 recons, that is. And yeah, the Hurricane bombers. Might be able to go for the Pak-43 kill, honestly. With the T-34-76 moving up to the edge of the tree line, we'll probably be able to deal with a lot of this infantry that's pushing across the open. IS-2 moving up. 1943 going to be engaged in Stug 3. Pak-43 does have line of sight though. Will be able to kill an IS-2 1943 because of the 160mm of frontal armor. Will have a lot of penetration chance. Does manage to get the armor crack, and the IS-2 goes down. T-34 dead once again, and yeah, just not a committed push means that he gets taken care of by the single Pack 43. Does manage to control this flag on the bottom side, also now has control of these two flags, just needs to gain back control in the center, and then AmberT's going to be in a good position. Looking for the bombing strikes now onto the Pack 43, but the flak filling was not dealt with. So these Hurricanes, if they get crit, they're going to go down. Oh, that one getting very close to the flak filling. Oh my, it's gone. It is straight up gone. Will it kill the second one as well? Oh, that burst could have done the job. That would have been a lovely Hurricane double kill. AmberT though starting to lose control. Found a really nice salient for a second, but AmberT now pulling in the big guns. 2 IS-2s, multiple T-34s. Yeah, it's going to be really rough to push back through. The Grenadiers just not having anything to deal with armor. Yes, the Pack 43s are available, but they're easily targeted now that the AA is going down. Saying that, Flak 38s are on the way. Well, these are 20mm. The Flak 38 20mm. That's not a fantastic choice. These really won't stop too much from killing the Pack 43. Especially with a little bit of a mortar fire. These 20mm will be very ineffective. Taka taking shots still at Stroki DP. These have the potential to get so many kills in the game. Stug 3 under fire from the IS-2s. IS-2s don't have the best accuracy in the world. 40%. So Stug happy to be alive at the moment, but bouncing shots off the IS-2's front armor. Doesn't really want to remain in line of sight if you can help it. 16-8 now in favor of AmberT. Things really starting to roll over now that AmberT has cleaned up the little push that AmberT made. Pioneer Fjord in the open, going to go down. Grenadiers going down. Stug engaging at a distance. Pack 43 is coming in. These guns are really, really cool. They look awesome. And he needs to get it into a decent position, take care of these IS-2s, and I think that's what he's trying to do. I guess roll it onto the road, maybe attack route, move to the right, engage the IS-2s there. That'd probably be the best way to do it. AmberT, I mentioned how infantry availability might be a problem that AmberT has with Vyborg. Generally, you don't have a lot of infantry to work with. You use Avtos in Phase C. Now he's bringing in a bunch of Maxims to engage these Grenadiers. For 16-8, looks like AmberT's got this in the bag. Pack 43 still not being moved into position to engage the IS-2s. Oh, that Maxim getting killed there by the Takan Puya before it even unloaded. Alright, Maxims, they're going to unload down this road, start firing away. Will do quite a lot of damage over time to things like Grenadiers at a distance, but probably wanted to maintain range outside of the MG34s. Otherwise they're unnecessarily taking damage. I think they can even outrange the Takan Puya, yeah. Because these Maxims, they have 1,200 meter range, whereas the Takan Puya 1,000 meters. So having them unload into the tree lines either side probably would have been a better idea. Either way, PE2 coming in for a bombing strike onto the Pack 43. Let's get off a couple of bombs. Is going to hit the mark. Job done. Black filling fails to save that. And now our bottom side once again vulnerable to a push from tanks. I don't think we're going to see it. AmberT is probably feeling pretty safe with his 16-8. Stug 3. Well, that might be the Pack 43 actually. Took out a T-34. Meanwhile, the IS-2 pops another Stug in the open. And these IS-2s, they haven't been used in the best way possible, but they have definitely been shutting down Stugs very easily indeed. 1 minute left. T-34s pushing through now whilst the Stug 3 drives past, and well, the flak filling actually managed to get line of sight onto the T-34 before the T-34 got shot onto the flak filling, and the flak filling might kill the T-34 because of that. Pins it down. When he get the kill? Yep, T-34 goes down. Those flak fillings can be hella deadly. This T-34 also under fire from a Stug 3. Stug 3 is great for killing T-34s, I said it already. Really, really good matchup for those tanks. Just, of course, the IS-2s making things difficult. Now we see 3 Ju-87D5s coming in. Looking for the bombing strike onto the group of Maxims. Going to have to try and overwhelm this AA. Them being so close together does mean that both of them are getting pinned by the same AA guns. It's pretty rough. And, well, looks like that Ju-87 was saved by the bell. 40 minutes, 39 seconds. AmberT takes the victory quite convincingly. 4,950 kills to 3,755 losses. I think he maintained a positive KD pretty much throughout the entire match. He did really, really well with his trades throughout. Just didn't really capitalize on them, I don't think. He could have ended the game a lot sooner, in my opinion, when he was getting some of those kills from Scoutspirit. Let's have a look, though. This IS-2 1943 did manage to pick up quite a lot of those Stugs. So that was used very effectively. T-26Es, they were a nuisance for AmberT for sure. And I think the fact that AmberT didn't have much in the form of like PTRDs, or, well, not PTRDs, but it would have been Latis, meant that the T-26Es could run over certain infantry squads. But for the most part, the 45mm AT guns, I think, did the job. Stemniki, Chernos, Stroki, did okay. This Churchill did its job, sniping down the road. Really good accuracy, high rate of fire. Nicely done. Another IS-2 getting plenty of Stug kills. Those Stug kills, I feel like, could have been avoided by AmberT. There was a lot of times where he was not really on the ball with his units and let a lot of them idle and get shot at unnecessarily. And that could have definitely cost him the game here. AmberT's slow and steady approach definitely found him a lot of infantry, like a lot of value in his units, but definitely made the game a lot slower. But it worked out, so can't really complain. Pak 43, KV-1S, Churchill. The KV-1S, or the Pak 43s didn't really perform as well as I would have liked to have seen. I guess if each one of them is killing an IS-2, then that's more or less as good as you're going to get. This one actually got 2 1943s, so I'll take back what I just said. And these Pak 43s seem to have worked out quite nicely for the most part. But positioning and so on was a little lackluster there from AmberT. Interesting game. Nice to see Tali and Ihantala. And also nice to see the 122nd in play against Vyborg. Yeah. Interesting matchup. Not a massive fan of the 122nd. I don't think they're a very competitive division, personally. But that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that game. Congratulations to AmberT. We'll be moving on in the tournament. That's it from me, though. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.